What's going on, Falcon fan? This Ricondo, Real Falcon fan, coming back at you with another video. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can know when I drop another video. And today, as promised, guys, I was going to give you guys my 53-man roster breakdown projections. Before we even watch the last preseason game. So just based off training camp, what we've been hearing, what I've been seeing on the field, what I think that these guys are going to do. Um, and I'm just interested to see how close I come to predicting what this team is going to be. Like I said on the last video, that probably about 44 to 45 guys probably already determined anyway. So I shouldn't be that far off, but I'm just interested to see how close I get. So I'm not picking starters. I'm just picking the 53-man roster. So I'm not going to pick the practice squad because I think that's going to be determined on how many other players get cut from other teams. Um, if they can actually steal some guys to add to their practice squad, from other teams and stuff like that, and some even the 53-man roster could change based off who get cut from other teams. So this is just based off the Atlanta Falcons today, what we have on the team today, the 80 players we got, and what I think that these guys going to end up having. So you guys let me know what you think, and here we go. All right, so quarterback, we're going to keep two quarterbacks. I think we're going to keep Matt Ryan, of course, and I think it's going to be Josh Rosen. And the reason I picked Josh Rosen over Felipe Franks, simply because I just don't think Felipe Franks is ready. Um, Josh Rosen been in the league longer. He has had starts in the NFL. He do have some tape out there, films. It seems like he has some kind of potential, some kind of ability. He throws the ball well. So I mean, as long as he's in the offense, the better he may get. But I just think that going into the start of the season, we can add a player like Josh Rosen to be our backup quarterback, and then we can develop Felipe Franks on the practice squad. I still think by him being on the practice squad, I don't think nobody going to poach him from the practice squad. So I don't see a reason why we just don't have him on the practice squad and develop him that way. Vice give him that roster spot. So we're just keeping two quarterbacks, like three, and I think Josh Rosen is going to end up being that backup quarterback unless he just plays completely terrible this weekend and Felipe Franks plays lights out. So we just have to see. But I don't think Felipe Franks is ready to actually be a backup quarterback in the league. Not just yet. So that's why I picked Josh Rosen. All right. As far as running backs, we're going to keep. Now, this was hard for running backs because the question is they're going to keep 4 running backs. And then if they do that, I think they're going to keep 5 receivers. So, right as of today, I'm going with 4 running backs, which means we're going to have 5 receivers. So, just to give you guys look further down on the roster. So, of course, we're going to have Mike Davis. We'll have Cardell Patterson, Quadri Olison, and I think that fourth is going to be Caleb Huntley. Of course, Cordell Patterson is going to be our kick returner, and I think Caleb Huntley going to have to be on special teams if he makes the team. So they're going to have a big spot for him on special teams if he's going to make the team. So that's why and based off what he's been doing this training camp, I just think he deserves a spot. I think he plays well. It's just going to be depending how much he participated in special teams to see if he's actually going to make the team. So that's my projection for running backs. We are going to bring back Keith Smith, our fullback. So that's the one spot. So we're going to bring back Keith Smith as our one fullback. I know he plays the protector on punt. So and I think he's going to keep that spot. So I think Keith Smith is actually going to be the fullback. All right, tight ends. So we're going to keep 4 tight ends. We're going to keep Mr. Pitts, Hayden Hurst, Lee Smith, and then John Rain is going to be our 4 tight ends. Of course, we're going to keep 4 tight ends because we participate a lot in 12 personnel. Now, it was interesting because we can put Lee Smith and John Rain and playing that fullback position, but I just think we're going to keep Keith Smith. I just don't see a reason why not to keep him. I think he's a solid player, solid traditional fullback that we could use. So that's why we're going to keep 4 tight ends, even though those guys could fill in as fullbacks as well if needed. So that's our 4 tight ends we're going to keep. All right, so let's get to the receivers. So, like, this is very interesting for the receivers. Of course, we know the three that's already locked up is Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, and Olamide Zaccheaus. I think they're locked up. It's going to be those three guys. I don't see anybody should have an argument with those three guys. It's the last two guys which the argument is going to be. So, the fourth guy, I guess I'm going to go ahead and go pick Tajaé Sharpe. The reason why I'm picking Tajaé Sharpe, he's familiar with Arthur Smith offense, and he's one of the more veteran guys on the team. So, um, I'm just picking Tajaé Sharpe to be that fourth receiver. He played pretty decent in the training camp during the preseason games, even though he dropped that touchdown from Felipe Franks in the last game. I think he's shown enough to actually be that fourth receiver, which takes us to the fifth receiver. So, like I said, since they're keeping 4 running backs, you can only keep 5 receivers. They're just my opinion, and so based off that, so this is the question: do you want to keep a guy that you drafted for your first draft, your first regime? You actually drafted a guy, as in Frank Darby, in the 6th round. Do you want to keep him, or do you want to keep a proven guy that's been here a while, who's shown a lot of growth since he's been with the team, and Christian Blake? So I'm gonna just go with the conventional wisdom that they drafted Frank Darby. I think he could play a big role on special teams. So I'm going to pick Frank Darby in this spot, even though I think Christian Rake probably outplayed him throughout the training camp, throughout the offseason. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Frank Darby for that 5th wide receiver spot. Now, that could totally be different, like I said, and that only depends on if they decide to keep 4 running backs. If they keep 4 running backs, I think they're going to have to go 5 receivers, and I'm picking Frank Darby over Christian Blake. Like I said, even though I think Christian Blake outplayed Frank Darby from what we've seen from the film. Not saying we've seen in practice, but we didn't see every practice snap that each guy have. But I'm just going with what I've seen in the preseason, and I think Christian Blake has played better. He got more chemistry with Matt Ryan. But I'm going with, because they drafted Frank Darby, and he does have potential, I'm going to go with Frank Darby vice Christian Blake for our 5th and final receiver spot. You guys let me know what you think about that. Okay, let's get to offensive line. We're going to keep 5 offensive linemen. So the starters right now, we're not projecting the starters, but we're going to just go with it. Jake Matthews, Josh Andrews, Matt Hennessy, Christian Lindstrom, and Caleb McGarrett is going to be the 5. Your reserves that you're going to have, the 4 reserves, going to have Jalen Mayfield. You got Drew Dahlman. Then you have Willie Beavers and Jason Spriggs. Now, the one thing about those 4 guys that I just mentioned that's going to be the reserves, they all can play different positions. Arthur Smith talked about versatility, and that's why I think all those guys, because they can either play guard or tackle, and then Chris Dahlman's spot, he can play center and guard. So just think about that. Josh Andrews also can play guard. So that's going to be interesting to see. Usually they bring up eight offensive linemen on game day. So one of those guys, he's just going to be security blanket for for rainy day or something like that. But most of the time they have 8 active offensive linemen, and I think that's going to be big. And you want versatility, because if the center go down, you could either move Josh Andrews over to play center, or you could bring in Drew Dahlman to play center. So just between those guys, the versatility for offensive linemen. So that's 9 offensive linemen we're going to keep, and that's who I got. Let's go to edge rushers. So edge rushers, of course, we consider these outside linebackers. We got Dante Fowler Jr., of course, Jacob Tuoni Mariner, Stephen Means, and Okendeji. So all those going to be our outside linebackers. That's 4 of those guys. We could have had some more spots, but that's all we got. I mean, basically only have 53 players, so we're going to go with those 4 offensive linemen. Interior defensive linemen, Grady Jarrett, both Davidsons, Tyler and Marlon Davidson, John Kaminsky, Jonathan Bullard, who has been a great surprise, delight for us to see. He's been he's been looking good in the first 2 preseason games. Let's see what he looked like this Sunday. But Jonathan Bullard, and last drafted Taquan Graham. That's going to be our sixth inside interior defense alignment. So, like I said, Grady Jarrett, the 2 Davidsons, Kaminsky, Bullard, and Taquan Graham. That's going to be our inside linebackers. Let's go to our linebackers. So linebacker interesting as well. I think the linebackers probably had played the best during training camp. Showed the most during the preseason games. So it was real difficult for me to pick the. We're going to have 5 linebackers in this case, but it was pretty hard for me to pick and leave somebody off. But I did. So I Deion Jones, Foye Oluokun, Michael Walker, Brandon Copeland, and I went with Errol Thompson, Vice Dorian Etrich. It could go either way with either one of those guys, but of course Dorian Etrich had that big breakout game that he had the first preseason game with 13 tackles. But I just went with Errol Thompson. I think that he has a little bit more of the inside attacking linebacker that we want to see out of inside linebacker. So I went with Errol Thompson. I didn't think you can go either wrong either one of those guys. And so I went with Errol Thompson, Vice Dorian Etrich. I'm not. We just have to see. Either one of those guys would be fine with me. But we only keeping 5, so we had to leave one off. All right, let's go to cornerbacks. AJ Terrell, Fabian Moreau, Isaiah Oliver, Chris Williamson, Darian Hall, and Avery Williams. Notice I did not pick Kendall Sheffield on there. I think Kendall Sheffield got a lot of potential, but he just can't stay healthy, right? And he hasn't been participating in the practices and the game. So, it just the writing on the wall for him based off that. I know he was a draft pick of the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm pretty sure if he do get released, somebody probably going to go ahead and snatch him up because he do have potential. He haven't really showed it that much here in Atlanta, but young cornerback coming out of Ohio State, just haven't been able to stay healthy and show what he can actually do. So based off that, I think Chris Williamson's pretty much locked up his spot, and he's going to be that going to take that spot from Kendall Sheffield. So you guys let me know what you think about that. All right. Our last couple spots are safeties. I think this is pretty much self-explanatory. Who's going with? We're going with Deron Harmon, Eric Harris, Jalen Hawkins, and Richie Grant. And then the round out our last, that's 50 players total right there. Now round out our last is going to be Younghoe Koo, Cameron Naliziak, and Josh Harris, our long snapper. So that's my 53-man roster, guys. So let's just recap real quick. We're going to go back from 2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 1 fullback, 4 tight ends, 5 receivers, 9 offensive linemen, 4 outside linebackers, 6 interior defensive linemen, 5 linebackers, 6 cornerbacks, 4 safeties, and our special teams, which is going to be Koo, Naliziak, and Josh Harris. Of course, some special teams things to think about. Why I pick Avery Williams. I think he's going to be our punt returner and our backup kick returner. So I think he got a spot there. I think Cameron Naliziak is shown up very well and in the preseason and his punts. So I think he's going to beat out. I can't think of the other guy's name right now. But I think he's going to beat him out. The young man from Georgia Tech. Can't think of his name, but I think he's going to beat him out. So, guys, you guys let me know what you think. I think that's real close to the 53-man roster. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see if they decide to keep 4 running backs, vice the 6 receiver. Um, I can't see them keeping more than 4 tight ends, and how many linebackers they keep, because, like I said, I think the linebackers have been the most have played the best football this offseason. It's showing the talent that we have, on the depth that we got at linebacker. So that's going to be interesting to see, with that fifth linebacker position spot. Either it's going to be Darren Etchick or Errol Thompson. So we just have to see about those 2 guys. But you guys let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Frank Darby being picked over Christian Blake. Let me know if you think Caleb Huntley actually going to make the team, instead of being on a practice squad. You let me know if we're going to keep more than 4 tight ends. Let me know if we actually going to keep that fullback, where we know that some of our tight ends can actually fill in for that fullback spot. So, and one real reason why we probably could just go with 5 receivers, because if everybody know that Cordell Patterson actually was drafted as a receiver, so he can actually fill in for that receiver spot as well. So technically, we already have 6 receivers on the roster, so that's why I'm going with 5, and I'm thinking they're going to keep 4 running backs. So we just have to see. But if they do keep the 4th running back, just remember, if he's not big on special teams, he won't be on the roster. So because 53-man roster got to be, and how Arthur Smith phrased it was that you got to be interchangeable, be versatile to play more than one position. So they're not just going to put Caleb Huntley on a roster if he's not going to be, productive on special teams. So if he can't get on special teams, he won't make the roster. And that same thing you think about Frank Darby and Avery Williams, all those young rookies that we drafted. If they can't be productive, on special teams, because they might not get a lot of playing time in the actual game. So if they can't be productive on 4th down, they won't be on our 53-man roster. And I'm pretty sure they would find a spot on the practice squad. And I think they're going to actually keep 16 guys on the practice squad, which is, that's a uptick from what we usually seeing, since I think we're still putting some of the COVID protocols in, where they have 16 people on the practice squad, vice the 10 that we're used to, in recent years. So, so you guys let me know what you think. That's my 53-man roster. Let me also, last thing, let me know what you guys think about Josh Rosen. My projection being picked over Felipe Franks. And once again, guys, this is before our final preseason game, so we haven't seen these guys, put their last, game out there on field to see what they can actually do. Because based off what they do on Sunday, I might change my mind in some of these positions. So, but right now, that's what I'm going with. I think I'm about 95, 96% sure that this is going to be the roster. But let's see what really happens come Tuesday next week by the afternoon time, when they got to actually cut down to the 53-man roster. So you guys let me know what you think. Once again, this is Ricondo, a real Falcon fan, coming back at you. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. When I drop another video, and please share my video with other people out there. You guys know that I'm just getting started in this, but when I get on here and talk about the Falcons, it's one of my passions. I love the Atlanta Falcons. Most people that knows me know that. I'm always talking about the Falcons. So you guys let me know what you think. And this your boy, Ricondo, a real Falcon fan. Out. Peace.